Hey, everybody, welcome back to another amazing episode. This is Real Estate Uncensored. Now, we have an insanely cool guest, guys. We're going to talk to a master marketer, Sarah Noel Block. Did I get that right?
Kind of.
Fargan
There
me.
were a couple middle names in there. It's Sarah Noel Block.
Noel, see, like a Christmas song. She's going to bring joy to your lives, ladies and
Exactly.
gentlemen.
You can tell I'm a Sagittarius.
See, I'm a Sagittarius. This is fantastic. So we got Sarah here with us today, guys. She runs Tiny Marketing, working with organizations like 0 to like 3 to 5 marketers. Basically a typical real estate agent. She's going to break down, go 10x on us for marketing strategies. She's going to talk about some emails. She's going to talk about a lot of stuff. So get your pen and paper out, all you Gen Xers and Gen Zers, all you millennials. Warm your thumbs up because you're going to be doing some typing on your phones right now. But before we get to Sarah, we have Alyssa Glatz, Miss Color My Credit. What up, girl? How are you?
Hello, how are you? I brought my crayons. I have it all. I'm ready to go.
See, she's ready to go. She's ready to take notes, but I really want to get into Sarah's brain here and dive deep into the world of marketing, how you've been so successful in helping real estate agents, young entrepreneurs really get the marketing exposure that they need. So, Miss Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about this. Real estate's my favorite. I grew up in a real estate family.
Oh my gosh. So see, we're learning so much about each other.
I know, I just threw
I grew
that
up
at
in a real
you.
estate family. I'm a Sagittarius. You're a Sagittarius. Alyssa grew up in a real estate family. I mean, good God, we're with good people today. So tell us a little bit about your real estate family, mom or dad, in brokerages, agents, lenders, kind of what would that look like?
Yeah, my grandpa was a real estate investor. He had a ton of businesses and properties that he ran. And he had 13 kids, and
Whoa.
all of them are in real estate.
So he has his own brokerage, is what we're hearing.
He birthed it, I guess.
And for a grant. No, I'm just kidding. No. No
Well,
Nick Cannon jokes.
Donated his sperm to an entire brokerage.
He really did. Good for him. Way to keep it in the family, pal. So you got going into real estate, and then kind of walk us through your journey a little bit. Then I want to really break into the 10x strategies that you really want to go over a little bit.
Yeah, so I came from a family of real estate. My dad was a realtor, and I just grew up watching that. But I've always been in marketing. So I started off working exclusively with real estate and real estate investing type companies like cozy.co, which is now apartments.com, was one of my first clients.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was such a fun experience. And since I was doing a lot of real estate investing and I was a landlord, so it was a good topic for me because I was always researching stuff I was dealing with anyway.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, then I moved on working with other companies like that, and then real estate companies and service companies that support real estate.
So when it comes to like working around the industry, were you ever an agent yourself that was practicing, or you've always like, okay, you guys are somewhat mentally stunted. I'm going to step away from you and I'm going to help you become more financially stable. Is that kind of where you're like,
It was more like that. I was on the fringe of real estate always, but my experience in it was always in investing. And then, I marketed for all real estate companies.
So you're investing. Alyssa, we seem to have a trend with incredibly talented young ladies who are very financially stable and savvy that are buying properties like it's going out of style. Sarah, when did you buy your first house? Or investment property, I might say, excuse me.
I was 22, I think.
22.
Yeah.
22. And did your parents prepare you? A lot of people think I deal with credit a lot. So people constantly say, I wasn't raised with anybody. I mean, my parents did okay with money, but they didn't teach me anything about money. They didn't teach me how it all worked. It's almost like you had to learn the hard way, like take out credit and then not pay it and then realize that, oh, shoot, this is how you do it, But do you feel you learned just there was a desire, that motivation, intrinsic motivation, like within you, or do you think it was pushed on you? I guess there's a few different questions there.
Yeah. No, my parents were broke.
Yeah.
And that is what did that for me
Okay.
because I was like, I don't want to be broke. So
Mm-hmm.
financial literacy was really important to me from a really
Mm-hmm.
young age. I was always cheap as all get out, and I only wanted to spend money on stuff that I could make money from.
God, I wish most guys would learn that. You
Me
know.
too.
Women, we have something in us. We were talking about it last week that I said,
Yeah.
it's like this kind of stuff is almost like entrepreneurial money, like making your money work for you, taking back control of your life in these ways. Like this is like our Roman Empire. This is the stuff we will talk about until the end of the earth. And it's
Yeah.
not just Sarah and I. Like there's a lot of women like us. I mean, guys too, but I mean, I do definitely feel that it's a main topic for us. We
Yeah.
love to feel empowered by it and sharing what we know.
I think our something within our like internal feminine rage that we have to win.
Our anger issues.
We
Yeah.
have to show that we don't need anybody else and we need to be able to be okay on our own. I
Yeah.
think there's something in us that
Totally.
breeds it.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, let's
Not much.
take some of that feminine rage and let's pour it into the rest of the community. Grr, get all feminine rages on all of us. Talk to us a little bit about kind of some interesting marketing techniques and content creation, and kind of walk us down this path. The stage is going to be yours. I really want to kind of understand what is going on in your brain and kind of what you've been advising people from last year to this year to the potential future, so that people, when they walk away, they'll have a semblance of a plan in their mind. And then I want them to reach out to you, of course, with any questions to kind of get in your realm. But let's start with kind of what was trending last year and what's trending now, and where do you think we're going to be going?
Yeah, I focus really deeply on inbound marketing because it is like a salesperson that's working for you 24/7.
Mhm.
So, whenever you can create content like this, for example, you create it on a consistent basis and it's working for you. It's attracting people to you and it's repelling the wrong people. So, it's a great way to sell and to amplify that. Pairing that with partnership marketing, which is huge this year,
Hmm.
is like the best way to get as many eyes on your content as possible and on you.
Mm.
I believe that my business would have fallen apart by now if I didn't have partnerships and relationships with other content creators, service providers, brands that where we're propping each other up. There's no such
Mm.
thing as competition. There's partnerships, collaboration.
That is so smart. I think that's so smart because I've talked to a few people before that do PR, that do marketing, that have clients that they actually, utilize each other. I had a PR person who had 5 different people that she managed as well, but that they all fit what I was looking for like a finance show. So she said, "Here, I
Yeah.
got ideas for you." So she's helping them, but also by helping me. So it's a lot of like collaborative ideas that are coming out, right? Creatively.
So much.
Yeah,
Yes. So much of that.
that
You
makes
would
sense.
think that other marketing agencies would be my enemy. They would be my competitor. I
No.
literally just got off the phone with another marketing agency that's like, we don't specialize in email marketing. Do you want to take this on as our strategic partner? And I'll just hand
Hmm.
it off to you. This happens
Love it.
all the time. There is
Mhm.
no such thing as competition. It's something we create in our minds, and it really
Mm, love
paralyzes
that.
you.
Well, that's one of the biggest faults for most real estate agents, and I say that because that was me when I first got into the business 24 years ago. I looked at every other real estate agent as a piranha that's going to eat my lunch, and so it was double middle fingers, like don't talk to me, don't come near me. This is my stuff. This is what I do. Blah blah blah. Then I learned that, you know what, everyone's out there to help each other. Yes, we compete with each other, but at the end of the day, we're all there to help. Because, Sarah, let's say you go on vacation with your family, right? And you guys are going to Bora Bora for 2 weeks. Well, you're going to need someone to step in your business. That's where the allies and the friends in the
Mm.
industry are so stinking important. And if you can create a marketing campaign like we're going to talk about that can keep that lead generation going, get your business partners to step in and help you out, do a homie hookup, and then vice versa. When they go on vacation, guess what? You're going to take care of their business for 2 weeks or a week or whatever it's going to be. And it's so strategic to think that way. And once people to eliminate that thought pattern, going like, everyone's evil, to everyone's my friend. Have you seen that make a big difference both in personalities and both in relationships as well in the industry?
Yes. I had a client in real estate who she specialized, or her favorite type of client anyway, was the first time home buyer. That's who she loved working with. It's it was her bread and butter. But she didn't love working with real estate investors, for example. They just have different priorities. They want
Mm.
different things. So she would have strategic partners with other real estate agencies and hand off those investors to them, and they would give her their first time buyers because they knew that she loved it. So you can really niche down, still
Mhm.
make your money while still
Smart.
like building those relationships and those referral circles.
You know what? I'm with your friend there, your first client. I mean, I'm a huge buyer fan. I love buyers. It's like a kid on
Mhm.
Christmas and they're opening up presents, aka every house we go into. We don't know what we're gonna get. We're so excited, you know? And that
You
that
love the
I'm with her.
emotion, the meaning behind it, the experience of it. Like, you want them to not have their decisions based on, like, no emotion, like real estate investors. It's very like, "Rah, rah, rah." You like
Yeah.
the story. You like to be part of it. You like to hold their hand and be like, "Let's go down the yellow brick road," right? Is that kind of like it?
We're getting
A little
close, yes.
dramatic. So,
So talk to us what got that mindset moving for your client, and then kind of how did she even branch off more to talk about buyers, and then we'll jump into sellers. But I want to see what she's doing for first time home buyers.
Yeah, so we went really deep in it. I was like, if this is your ideal customer, let's go all in. And we started creating like first time buyer guides and like a YouTube series to go around that topic. So in the discovery phase, when people are starting to think about, okay, I'm ready to buy my first home, they're going to run across her content. And it worked really well. And we created a lead magnet around that. It was like a little short master class, but it was
Mhm.
attached to every single one of those discovery pieces of content. So when they're finding her Googling around,
Mhm.
they sign up for the master class. She has their email, and then we move them to the welcome sequence that sort of indoctrines them to the idea of working with her and helps them self eliminate if they're the wrong person or raise their hand if they're the right person.
mhm.
So what would make them the wrong person?
Let's say they don't have the budget. They're not financially, they don't have that financial checklist, like the 3 months of mortgage in their bank. They start to learn all of the things that they need to know before they can buy, and they could just opt out when they realize, okay, I wanted to, but I'm I'm not actually ready to do this. And that's really a huge part of selling through content marketing is attracting and repelling. And repelling is just as important. It really reduces that sales cycle and gets you more right leads.
God, that could not be more true if you tried. I mean, when I first got in the business, I worked with anybody with a heartbeat. And I'll tell you, that was one of the worst things I ever did. Now, I thought it was great. I thought I was very effective using my time right, but I worked with a lot of the wrong people, and it wasted a lot of time. How long did it take her to understand the right person, the person she really wanted to work with, a perfect avatar?
She was working with another agency, and she was doing that too, working with anybody who would. And then
Mhm.
when she decided to build her own agency, that's when she was like, okay, I'm just going to work with the people I want to. So she had that period of time where she was learning what she wanted. And we all do that. I literally just recorded a podcast episode for my own show. What I
What's your
recorded
podcast name?
Tiny Marketing.
Tiny
Nice.
marketing.
I recorded it on Friday, but it was all about I begin it with the story of how I worked with everybody when I first started my business and what a mistake it was and all of the mistakes that went along with that. Oh, and the red flags that you learn.
But that, like, there's no other way to learn some of those things. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Miss Positivity Pants over here, but it's like you can't. The people I know, we were talking about this the other day about how, like, if you haven't gone through anything, I don't want you. You know what I mean? I want to know that you've had some practical experience, you've
Yeah.
fallen, you've gotten back up again. It's all those skills you learn along the way that really makes it where you're amazing now. It's not an overnight sensation thing. It's just all of those things that build up. So the good, even when the bad stuff and the mistakes happen, oh my God, spending just thousands and thousands of dollars on ideas that, let's put a billboard up in the grocery store or some crap.
Yeah.
They've tried everything there is, and you get so mad at yourself for trying stuff. But you can use it later, when you realize, when you're helping people,
Yes.
and it, like, I don't know, does that ever work out, Greg? All of those things that have been your regrets, the time and money and stuff that you spent, have you ever found any good nuggets that came from it, like that were necessary? It would made it necessary.
Yeah, you figured out what not to do real freaking quickly.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about this exact thing, and I said, you know what, I'm going to get back to some of my bare bone basic shit. Like I'm
Mhm.
talking like I love doing cold calls. I mean, I've done over 600,000 cold calls myself. I mean, just yesterday I did 1,800 phone calls myself. So I mean,
How?
yeah, I'm kind of insane. Understatement. But it's effective, but it's not as effective as going belly to belly, face to face, creating the video content, letting people see your personality, see your sense of humor, bringing professionalism, educating folks, doing a call to action, putting through a sequence, really getting out there, pressing the flesh. I know that for a fact, if I handed out 50 business cards a day, I would have more business I could ever shake a stick at in probably 3 to 6 months. But a lot of us don't do that because we're afraid of the rejection of actually saying, hey, hi, Sarah, my name's Greg. Here's my business card. And you're like, go fuck off. I'm like, okay, that hurt my feelings. I'm going to go cry in the corner next to a big boulder. But if I go to Alyssa, hey, Alyssa, here's my business card. And she's like, thank you. Bam. That's all it takes. But people only focus on the negative. And that's what I've learned.
Timing.
We
Yeah.
always focus on the negative. We don't really look at the positive and what works. So when it comes to the tiny marketing, when it's not tiny on like we're not like spending like $1 a month tiny marketing. We're talking like niching. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm talking about identifying the customer journey and replicating it. So you are, oh, hi guys.
I know.
So you are, so you're able to clone your favorite customers. And it
Mm.
really comes down to identifying the trend lines of that customer journey and replicating it. So you don't have to keep trying new things. Now, I like to do that once a quarter. I call it the marketing lab, where I'm excited about something new. I want to test it out, and I'll give myself one thing to test out a quarter. And yeah, sometimes it fails, but that's the learning lesson, like we were talking about. But sometimes it works out really, really well, and then I can knock something else off the list and make that the priority.
So let's go over that because I have a story. I want to run it past you on a tiny marketing thing that I came up with. No one's ever done it, and now people are really pissed off that I came up with it here in my local area. But give me one success and one failure in that arena, and give me your expectations on each when you went into those different scenarios.
Okay. So, one success I would say is these are very closely related, but they're different. So, the success would be starting to sell with webinars and
Mm.
building out my podcast into series where it culminated on a webinar topic. So, the entire time I'm driving people to this lead magnet, and then I'm able to convert them over to sales. That worked really well for me. Now, when I started this whole journey, I started it off instead of doing my podcast. I did it as a live stream show like this is. Hi, everyone. Um, but good God, there were so many tech hiccups, and I couldn't commit to every Friday at noon showing up live.
That's hard.
So I had to tweak that. That was not working for me, but I was able to take all of that content from those live stream shows and convert it into podcasts and now
Mm.
pre-record and schedule it all out.
So batch shooting is definitely a positive. Oh my gosh, you'll save sanity doing that.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Sit down for one day, knock out a bunch of shows, schedule them, forget it, you're done for the month. Right?
Yes. And StreamYard makes that so easy.
So easy. It's unbelievable how easy it is. So the webinars, a lot of folks are afraid of webinars because they're like, gosh, it's so confusing and difficult. What's a lead funnel? What do I have to say? How long does
I
it have to
love all of
be?
that
Where should I
stuff.
do it? And I mean, for me personally, I got paralyzed thinking about it. So I mean, how do you unparalyze somebody like myself going like, look, yeah, buddy, come here. I'm gonna help you out. Sit right there. Don't say anything. All right, here we go. Class has started.
Class has started. It is so templatized. It's so easy to do this. So I have a general workflow that I built out once that goes out to promote the webinar. And I have my
Mhm.
checklist of things that I'm going to do. Like for my own business, LinkedIn is huge for me. Most of the
That's
businesses I work with are B2B. So LinkedIn events,
Mhm.
meetups. Are you guys on meetup.com? I know it's
Yep.
like old school, but good God, you get a lot of leads from that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I haven't gone on there yet. Maybe I was scared. I was scared of it, but maybe I will.
Okay. Let me tell you.
I know.
Oh,
Finally
You guys
found
can do
something I'm scared of. Yeah.
yes, you
yeah.
guys can do
a lot.
virtual workshops or webinars and build out a meetup group for realtors or whatever in whatever area you want that you're
Yeah.
focusing in on.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden you have 50 new leads in. It is so nice. And I actually learned that it's still relevant from an agency that I was on their podcast.
That's actually true. I mean, with the pandemic in the past and the potential lockdowns coming, in the future, the digital side and being able to be agile like that and shift and be able to go to a marketplace already, build a brand, build an image, have that conversation. For me, I'd do seller seminars. I found that people who own homes have no freaking clue how to sell the damn thing
Mm-mm.
at
No, I think that
all.
would do really, really well.
Mhm.
And that's what I was thinking because I did it one time and it was a knockout of the park success. And I was so proud of myself that I never did another one. Go figure.
You're like, that was a
Mhm.
win. I have to leave on a high note.
Taking the W and I'm out. Pin drop.
That's really good.
But yes, 100% that works. And I have learned over the years that I feel, you said that you did 1,800 cold calls yesterday. Selling
Mhm.
scares the shit out of me. I hate selling. I can only sell by teaching. And that is why I focus in on event marketing with workshops and webinars because it pulls people through that sales funnel within like 30 minutes. They get to know I exist and that I know what I'm doing and can teach them how to do it. And then they decide, I don't want to do that myself. I want you to do it. And there's no easier way to sell.
You're actually like a master salesman. You don't even realize it. It's that you think of traditional selling. I feel like the man's world, of selling is not I do the same thing. I go, oh, I'm a horrible salesperson because I have to like fully be behind what I'm talking about. Like I have to know that it's going to benefit this person.
Mhm.
And you and I, and all of us have experienced so many bad salespeople, so many people that have sold
Yeah.
us, and we hate them. You know what I mean? So we don't want to
Yes.
be hated logically. So we do all these things to almost like make it very clear we're not selling. But my mom always says to me, but you are. I mean, but you are just
But
because.
you
And
are.
I'm like, okay, but don't call it that. As long as you call it something different, but you actually are a genius. You probably don't even realize how good, but in a good way. We just don't want to identify with that,
Yeah.
All right.
I must be selling without realizing it because my business exists. And
Right. We have to be.
I'm not
Yeah.
struggling getting clients, but ooh, it makes me so uncomfortable. And the only way I can do it is really passively where I'm teaching you and you've decided I know what I'm talking about.
So
Does that,
that's a
yeah, go ahead.
No, Alyssa, go ahead.
I was just
You
gonna
guys
say,
wanna
does
run.
that make you kind of overcorrect by putting more text or in the verbiage of your content, with your selling line? Like I'm the same way, but I try to think I'm really bad at certain things, like as far as stopping and saying, hey, make sure you share and like and subscribe. And I don't say all that. I feel like it's so salesy and on. So I overcorrect by putting it on the screen for them to read. But do you find ways that you can overcorrect kind of to make up for the sales pitch, but still getting them to sell? I mean, you said passive aggressively, but I was just wondering if
I didn't say aggressively. It's just
all
passive.
No, I'm
Passive
not a
aggressive is
big
a whole
text
different
on the
definition.
screen person.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with calls to action because that's really marketing world. So it feels comfortable to me. What I do is I try to be really explicit in my sales material. So I do a lot of copywriting, and I have a basic formula that I like to use for sales pages where I'm overcoming all of their objections on the page, and I'm predicting what they're going to say, like why they can't work with me or why that solution won't work with them, and give them the answer before they can have a chance to give that to me. So my sales page does a lot of the selling for me because I'm looking at that, and I'm also taking the time on that page to say who this is right for and who this is wrong for. Because I don't want to be on a bunch of sales calls for people that don't make sense. I want you to know exactly like who this is right for and what you should expect at the end.
I think that's a big problem with a lot of agents. They don't know what to expect. They see what other people get and they think it's going to be the same, but different personalities, different markets, different everything. And I love the idea of like, hey guys, if you're a first-time home buyer, this is your course. If you guys have owned your home for 7+ years, this is what you need to listen to. So if I'm a first-time home buyer and I hear about these are the 7 ways to get your home sold fast, I'm like, well, that doesn't pertain to me. I got to move on. And that's weeding out the chaff. And I think that's a phenomenal way of going about it. Now, when you do your meetup.com live webinars and stuff, do you set that precedent up front and say, look, this is what this is what you're going to learn. This is who should be here. If you're not, this is the webinar. Or do you say, I love everybody. Come hang out with me?
No, I'm really explicit about who the ideal customer is for it, who it will help, and what they'll get by the end, like that transformational statement. So there's no surprises and the wrong people aren't coming. I want to repel people.
Gosh, isn't that amazing? I see that being the underlying theme, with you, is that you're perfectly fine if 5 people come to the party, if they're the right 5 people.
Yeah.
It's like you have no desire to fill the whole house. Every time I've had a workshop or something, somebody said to me, well, how many people showed up? Well, how many people viewed it? Well, how many people watched it? How many people liked it? And it's like, if one did, and it's the right one, success,
Exactly.
I'd rather have that all day than a whole room of people saying you're amazing, but nothing coming from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a popularity contest where you're not actually friends with anybody. They just know who you are. I'd rather have a couple close friends that know exactly who I am.
Totally.
Well, it's also a lot of the marketing that it has been taught to us agents. And Sarah, you know this, and Alyssa, you obviously know this. They're like, hey, you can get 100 leads a month. Well, that sounds great, but 90+% of them, probably 98, 99% of them are really going to suck. They're going to just be a time suck. And then guess what? You got 100 more next month. Shit, now I got 200. Next month, I got another one. Fuck, now I got 300 people I got to follow up with. When, like you guys said, give me 3 people a month. Give me 2 people a month that are like, dude, come list my house. Come help me buy $1 million home. They'll give me enough money to do whatever the heck I want. And I have sanity and my own life. So you make a decision on quantity versus quality. I'll take quality over quantity any stinking day of the week.
Yes.
Right?
Well, we have to remind ourselves of that. When we get desperate, we kind of get into a mindset where we're like, I'll take quantity over quality. Who cares? We'll make it work. And you can't do that,
Well, you can't do it on this show, of course, because we're talking about tiny marketing. Okay. We can't go all crazy pants on large marketing.
No.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even connect my want for only quality leads to tiny marketing, but that's true.
It's funny. Well, where did you come up with that name?
Oh, I came up with it because I was always part of a small team and I
Mm.
specialized in building out streamlined marketing that was really systematized. So you could do it even if you had no marketing department. So I help you utilize your subject matter experts in house.
I
Well, so
love
it
it. Well,
seems.
it actually fits perfectly. Your name fits perfectly with your mission and your core values and
Thank
stuff.
you.
So, yeah.
So I love the meetup idea. Let's talk a little bit about some more marketing strategies for content that maybe people just haven't looked at in a while, never even looked at, didn't even know exist, what have been really successes for you. I want the people to walk away from the show today to just fall in love with you and your marketing, your mindset, get into your ecosphere, right? And really grasp this idea of tiny marketing, not macro marketing. So
Okay,
walk us through
I've
that.
got one for you that
Good.
no one does. Podcast capsules.
The fuck is that?
What's that?
I invented it. I've never heard of anyone else
Oh.
doing it. But here's what it is. Take a niche topic that aligns with your ideal customer avatar and build like 6 podcast episodes around that. And
Hmm.
just do that little podcast capsule. You don't have to do long term. And if you can't commit to creating content on a consistent basis, you could create that whole capsule in one sit down, but it's going to attract all the right people because you're talking to your exact customer avatar on the
Mm,
Mhm.
exact topic that you know they care about. So that one's really nice. And you
that's
can also
really
make
good.
that private. A private podcast would be gated. So then you'd get leads from all of those. And if you're doing a podcast that's private, you could also bring in guests for that so you can get extra promotion around it.
That's a
Let me see
really good idea.
if I'm understanding. I just want to ask you a question. So like let's say a realtor is trying to work with veterans. They would have a podcast capsule for veterans, and that would be
Mhm.
maybe 4 or 5 episodes that would pertain to the veteran home buyer, VA home loan interview with the lender, another one
Yes,
on things of, that you can get the seller to do, whatever the case, but 4 or 5 things. That's a great idea.
that is a great example. That would
Mhm,
work perfectly
mhm,
because you could even interview some of your customers that fall within that realm, that
mhm,
niche, and really understand what challenges they are going through in that process.
mhm.
And one of those episodes would be great to do a compilation of those clips from those interviews.
Yeah.
That's interesting you bring that up because I'm literally stepping into a new site, new part of real estate. I'm going to start doing more like investment on buying, helping people sell properties on terms and buy properties on terms. And there's a lot of confusion around it. And I was thinking like, well, gosh, I mean, with all the different opportunities to buy on terms, sell or carry, what lease to own, pick one, right? But then do interviews with the people who've done it, their experiences, pros, cons, and do 5 to 6 of them, like you said, and then just put those as little, channels on their own. Say, hey, look, if you're
Mhm.
interested in this, here's 5 videos you might want to watch and what the customers have thought. So thank you for reinforcing that. And again, it's private, so you're not going to be doing it live streaming. You're going to be recording on the backside, if I'm understanding you
Yeah,
correctly, and then put them into a private channel, like you said, that's locked, and then just shoot that link out to the right individuals. That is a evilly genius, simple, affordable way that people can communicate. And does it always have to be about real estate, or can it be like, let's say you're a great cook, or if you're a great videographer, or if you're a great tree tending person, you know how to really make a pool. Pick something you're good at. Can you do microcosms like that as well, and then lead it back into your business?
it depends like if it's related to your business, you need to look at that ideal customer, what
Mhm.
challenges they're going through, and focus it around that. It would work in absolutely any industry,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but keeping it focused on them.
Providing solutions. Yeah.
Mhm.
So why aren't people doing something that would bring value to the customer?
What do you mean?
So why are we always talking about ourselves? When's the last time you said you saw an agent go, "Hi, I'm number one. My team's number one.
That's true.
Number 1 quarter percent of the entire U.S." Everyone's like, "I don't care, bro. Are
Right.
you an honest, ethical, good, lovable human being that I can trust with my kids, my cat, and my goldfish? I mean, why are people not talking about that?
I don't know because I'm definitely talking about that. Nobody cares about you or me. They care
Mm-mm.
about themselves.
Yes.
But we can't help it. We go into that mode. But I'll tell you what, I said that the best way for even building content over time, is really to think about your avatar. Think about what I wake up in the morning and think, what does she need to know? What's on her mind right now? Well, I think she's a woman, but it's like things are getting tighter. Childcare, you look for things in the news, the things that would naturally make them stop and want to read, right?
That
But
is
you
smart.
solve problems like within your marketing to the problems that they have in their head. You
Yeah,
know what I
as
mean?
you're doing that, when you're waking up and thinking about them, write down all of like a long list of all of the things that you think that they're going through because of the economic environment
Mhm.
or
Their
with
age, you
yes,
know.
exactly. If you write all of that down and connect that to your brand, like how it applies to your offer, your solution, your product, you've got a whole content calendar.
But you could also dovetail that into the events on meetup.com, right?
Yeah.
You can make a couple of silos of content and then say, hey, look, guys, we're going to talk about this. I'm also going to give you a free gift at the end. I'm going to give you a link to 6 other videos that are going to cover some additional content behind this. Come on, get your free info, right?
Yeah, you could do this either way. You could use it as a bonus. Like, hey, if you attend live instead of watching the replay, if it's digital,
Mhm.
you get this bonus. Or you could use a podcast capsule, which would be public,
Mhm.
as a launching pad for the event that you're having. That would be the lead magnet. So you could do it either way. But what I do is I always have in my podcast, you know how you can have ad slots?
Mhm.
Well, my ad slots, I advertise my next event so I can get more people going to it.
Yeah, there's a couple of podcasts I'm going to get you on,
Oh,
just because I
thank
think
you.
this is fascinatingly interesting content. So I know we're coming up tight on time. We got about 12 minutes left with you, and you got to go. You have a very big meeting. I don't want to keep you from that. So we have the meetup.com events. We have the podcast capsules, what we just went over. What's another one or two tidbits that people are going to just be drawn to like a fly to light?
So this isn't brand new, but everyone in real estate seems to avoid it. And that would be creating a welcome, nurture, sales sequence for those leads that come in.
Sequence.
I
Yeah.
Everyone that I've run across, at least my clients in real estate, they feel so uncomfortable emailing unless it's listings.
Hmm.
But but you shouldn't. So I emailed you before this. I was like, okay, I have a story I want to tell around email. So I'll tell it now.
Yes.
And it was around a welcome sequence. So my client, she was just beginning her email marketing journey. I wrote her welcome sequence for all of her new leads that were coming in. She had just launched her own agency. And one of the emails in the sequence was about her experience in her childhood with homelessness
Huh.
and how that triggered her desire to help people find their homes because she had she was, what is that? Home insecurity.
Mhm.
Um, and
Interesting.
having that vulnerability in her welcome sequence actually brought in a lot of replies and ended up landing her a few clients because they
Mm.
didn't know that about her. And it made her feel real to them. A lot of times businesses
Mhm.
feel like
That's
a
really good.
facade, but having that vulnerability in there made a huge difference for her.
I love that. I love the whole idea of humanizing yourself because
Mhm.
you're right. When you share something, there people will resonate with you. And
Mhm.
if they don't know, they can never resonate. You can never
Mhm.
have that bond, that deeper conversation never took place because it was just more corporate style, right?
Yeah, yeah, you need that know, like, trust factor, and you're not going to get that trust without opening yourself up.
Mhm.
So I love the email sequences. I don't understand why people would be afraid to email, but I love the fact that she humanized herself so much. Okay, so keep going. I interrupted your story. I apologize.
That was the end of the story.
Oh, see, I knew when to cut you off.
You're good to go.
Yeah, I feel like we have to get back to that. How much do you use Chat GPT and things like that in your business? Or how much have you played with it? I'm sorry, I can't help it. Let's talk about Chad.
For me, I do a lot of copywriting, but one of my favorite things to do with chat is after I write my page, I put it in there and I say, learn format or formula X, whatever formula I'm using for that copywriting for that page.
Mhm.
And I want you to critique this. So then it'll go through it and it will tell me what I did right and what I should add to make it more effective. So that's one of the things I love using. And I also do a ton of what I call strategic sparks. They're workshops with stakeholders within a company to help them identify their marketing opportunities. And I take those transcripts and I put them in ChatGPT and I ask it to give me the most important parts and just ask different questions. So it pulls all the information from those meetings and summarizes it for me.
Damn.
Huge. That's awesome.
That's huge. Well,
it's all about what you feed into it, you know? But
yeah, really, you have to teach it. That's what a lot of people don't understand is you have to teach it first and then ask the question.
I've been trying to teach men my whole life, so I'm a pro.
Good luck.
Still learn, yeah.
I'm still here, ladies.
Okay. oh, hi.
That is a phenomenal thing right there. I mean, just with Meetup, the podcast capsules, and then creating the sequences. Now, how would someone create a sequence? Do they have to go out there and buy all this fancy stuff, or can they just open up go to their own YouTube channel, create another playlist on there, lock the playlist, and then be able to build from that? Or do you do it in a different format, different system?
Are you talking about the welcome sequence?
Yes,
that would be an
like
email.
That. Yes.
So I use Flowdesk for that, and it's just simple, just text and images on that.
So you use Flowdesk?
Yeah, I love Flowdesk.
What would you say are the three? I mean, not to take away from that question, but besides Flowdesk, give us a couple other like essential apps you have to have.
Okay. I cannot live without my project management tool. I use Teamwork. I've used a lot, but Teamwork has been by far the best. And Flowdesk can't live without. StreamYard, I also use that. And I record everything on there. And I don't know if you guys saw, but you can host webinars on here now.
Oh,
yep.
I didn't know that.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Yep. Saw that. Yeah. Haven't used it yet, but I saw that. I'm like, that is so stinking interesting to do that.
I use Demio, but I'm definitely going to try this since it's built into my contract anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, and for virtual workshops, I love using Butter.
Butter.
Yes. I ran across it randomly. I've never known anyone else to use it. So I don't know how I ended up finding it, but it is the bee's knees. I love it. It's so interactive and fun.
So what is that then?
It is it is a workshop platform. So you can put games in there, you can build out games, you could build out music and rooms. So for breakout rooms, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
You could do pretty much everything. And it uses AI to summarize the meeting and the transcripts and give all of the most important parts and send it out.
Is that similar to Files?
Firefly? I don't know. I'll have to Google it. I haven't heard of that one.
Files is something my buddy Michael Fielden with Support Geeks turned me on to, and it's the same kind of thing. You can record it on the back end of a webinar. It'll isolate who talked, who asked questions, the tonality. It'll give notes of the entire thing. Different bullet points, different timings, so you can then send that out so everybody kind of knows where you are, and it's free. So
that's nice. Yeah, Butter has that element. I'll have to check that out. Are we frozen just to me or to you also?
I was going to say you are I was going to go.
So Alyssa can be a frozen person. So we only have 5 minutes left. Sarah, talk to us a little bit about events, your podcast. Talk about where people can get into your ecosystem of knowledge. so people can learn at your feet and really understand how to be a tiny marketer and expand their business on an affordable budget.
And
Yeah.
can they hire you? Miss
Yeah.
Frozen. Miss Frozen face. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I wonder if I stop my cam and turn it back on, it'll help, but we're just wrapping up anyway. So you can find me at sarahnoelblock.com. I will give away actually my ideal customer avatar bundle. So everyone who's listening can download that. So it'll be sarahnoelblock.com/uncensored. Don't go right away because I'm going to create it right after this. My podcast is Tiny Marketing, and my next event coming up is, well, next week for those who are watching this live. It's October 3rd. It's a brand messaging workshop that's 90 minutes, and we'll create your brand messaging together. And then November 14th is my one after this, and that one is a lead magnet workshop where we're going to outline and identify the right lead magnet for your customer.
And what's the cost to attend these?
$0.
Good. I'll be showing up to both.
Awesome.
No, I really am. That's not a joke.
Good. I'll send you the link.
I would appreciate that. Now,
I'll be there too. That's awesome.
Cool.
I love the freebie. Yeah.
So Sarah, I want to just say thank you for having me come on. So guys, go over to sarahnoelblock.com/uncensored. Go ahead and get those offers she just talked about. Is there anything else, Sarah, that you would like to leave us with before we let you go to your meeting?
Oh, no.
No, you don't want to do anything else? Or, oh, no, you have a tech
That
problem?
sounded more like a, oh, no.
It wasn't, oh, no, because my whole computer froze and it went all wonky.
Oh, wait, now there you are.
There she
Okay,
is.
there I am. I thought like everything disconnected. Yeah, so my walk away ending statement would be, oh, no. No, I'm just kidding. It would be create those events that are bringing in your ideal customer, and don't be afraid to repel the wrong people. Make sure that's built into your content.
That's where we're our takeaway right there. That's what I love right there, because people just need to get that ingrained into their brain. Alyssa, any final thoughts or takeaways before we let Sarah go on her way?
No, you're awesome, Sarah. It's great to get some good information from you. And so a realtor could just, if they wanted help with marketing, I mean, they could just call you to be hired on as their marketing person.
Yeah. So anybody who's interested, I'll put a fit call link on sarahnoelblock.com/uncensored, but you could grab a time with me and then we can set up a strategic spark session where we can identify those marketing opportunities that you might not have realized that are there.
Gosh, take advantage of that, you guys. That's awesome. That's great.
I was just say, boys and girls, you better take advantage of this, and I'm being deadly freaking serious.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, we are 2 minutes before you got to bounce like a rubber ball. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Guys, go back and listen to this if you didn't hear the entire thing. She dropped some seriously awesome knowledge bombs. In the beginning, she talks about meetup.com and what you can do there. That is something that has really got me thinking a lot. So, Sarah, you're a legend. You're amazing. Alyssa, you're always my fave.
You too. You too. Ditto.
All right. You guys, hey, I love you to pieces. We cannot do this show without you. You got to remember that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for sharing this video to anyone that could use us in their life. We're going to be back next week with another amazing guest. So you guys stay awesome, stay cool. And until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.